Okay, so our next question is, how do you determine the best place to plant a tree?
Well, that's a good question. So really what our goal is to plant the right tree in the right place. So there's a couple things you need to look at is what's the purpose of the tree you're planting? People plant trees for shade, for windbreaks, for aesthetic flowering purposes, for a tire swing. So knowing kind of what you want out of that tree is really specific, helps you define where to put it. The second thing is you want to look at how big that tree is going to get. When you bring it home, a 7-gallon tree, it's hard to really look down the road 80 years to see what that tree is going to end up like. So the type of tree you want, you need to really look for having the amount of space to allow that tree to grow over time. So root space, limb space is a big one. Also thinking about when you plant the tree, are there utilities around? You don't want to plant too close to your foundation. Certain trees are okay under power lines, others aren't. So you really want to be aware of what that tree will be like down the road as opposed to what it's doing now. The last thing when you're selecting a tree is kind of the crown form or shape. There are some trees that are a little more narrow that you can fit into spaces. Some trees that are a little more wide and need a lot of growth. So kind of looking at what that tree ultimately looks like is really a key to drilling down to where to plant it now. And like I mentioned previously, certain trees, they're much like other plants. Some are full sun, some are partial shade, some do well in the shade. So kind of looking at all the factors of what that tree is going to be helps guide you. And then ultimately, if you got lots of choices, put it where it makes you happy.
Thanks, Zach.